The Russian Air Force has deployed Su-35 4+ generation fighters to provide cover for airstrikes on Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region, where many of Ukraine's most elite units have spearheaded a large-scale incursion from early August. The Russian Defense Ministry reported regarding the fighter operations. Crews of Russian Aerospace Force Su-35's multi-purpose supermaneuverable fighters equipped with thrust vectoring modules provided cover for aerospace crews near the border in the Kursk region. While performing their combat missions, crews of the Su-35's multi-purpose fighter jets worked to provide cover in the designated area to operations of bomber and ground attack aircraft, as well as helicopters of the Army Aviation as they carried out airstrikes on Ukrainian armored vehicles and servicemen. The reported operations are notably highly similar to those reported to be taking place in Kursk the second week in November, when Su-35s were stated to have worked to provide air cover in the designated area of operations of bomber and ground attack aircraft, as well as helicopters of the Army Aviation as they carried out airstrikes on Ukrainian armored vehicles and servicemen, while also detecting Ukrainian air defense sites. As the Ukrainian incursion force has been simultaneously assailed from several sides, reported losses have become increasingly extreme. The Russian Defense Ministry on October 27 estimated the loss of over 27,150 troops, 177 tanks, 97 infantry fighting vehicles, 106 armored fighting vehicles, 1,014 armored combat vehicles since the fighting started in the Kursk area, which was up from the 20,650 personnel estimated in the first week of October to have been lost in Kursk by that point. With footage consistently showing successful strikes on Ukrainian forces in the region, and the destruction of some of its most valuable equipment, more recent Western reports have painted an increasingly unfavorable position of conditions for Ukrainian units still operating in Kursk. Alongside deployments for air defense suppression missions, Su-35s have played a leading role in air-to-air operations in the Russian-Ukrainian War since February 2022. One of the class' most notable successes occurred in March 2022, when the aircraft reportedly shot down 4 Ukrainian Air Force Su-27 fighters near the city of Zhytomyr in a single engagement. Multiple further kills have included more Su-27s, as well as MiG-29s, Su-24M strike fighters, Su-25 ground attack jets, Mi-8 helicopters, and a wide range of drone classes. The Su-35 is by far the most costly Russian fighter class fielded across multiple units, although with a procurement cost estimated at $17 million depending on exchange rates, it is still far cheaper than competing Chinese and American aircraft. Although representing a major leap in capabilities over the Soviet Su-27 it replaced in service, it is expected to be phased out of production by the early 2030s as production of the much more sophisticated Su-57 continues to expand. A fighter that hails from the early 2000s, the Su-35 has been described as Generation 4++ due to its incorporation of newer stealth, radar systems, and propulsion systems. Its radar system is particularly impressive, as it can detect airborne aircraft from up to 350 kilometers away. If an enemy F-35 did detect it, one former NATO commander said that the F-35 would likely retreat, due to the Su-35's supermaneuverability. Its producer, Rostec, has claimed the jet has no angle of attack limits. It can also reach supersonic speed without the need of an afterburner. This likely contributed to the Su-35's success against Ukraine's S-300 missile launchers soon after Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. The Su-35's payload is also quite impressive. It is capable of carrying up to 12 short-range missiles, 4 more than the F-22. It can also carry 4 R-37M missiles, which boast a 60-kilogram warhead, can attain Mach 6, and can travel up to an eye-popping 400 kilometers. When conflict gets closer, the pilot has access to a 30mm Gryazev Shipunov GSH-301 autocannon loaded with 150 rounds. The Sukhoi Su-35 is an advanced multi-purpose air superiority fighter derived from the Su-27. The Sukhoi Su-35S is outfitted with a 30mm cannon and 12 hard points. The fighter has a range of almost 3,500 kilometers without refueling. This formidable 4++ generation fighter has enhanced engines, avionics, and radar. The Sukhoi Su-35 jets have high-thrust engines, which sets them apart from their predecessors, the Su-27 family of fighters. The engines, known as 117S, were built by NPO Saturn, a UEC subsidiary. Although the Su-35 radar system lacks an APAR, active phased array radar, it can track and engage up to 8 airborne targets simultaneously and locate targets up to 400 kilometers away. The radar system was designed by the Tikhomirov Instrument Engineering Research Institute and is manufactured by the Ryazan State Instrument Factory. The aircraft has friend or foe identification capability for aerial and maritime objects. It can also recognize the class and kind of airborne targets and capture aerial images of the ground. The system is deployable in any weather and at any time of day. Despite interference from natural factors and hostile electronic warfare systems, it maintains its effectiveness. The electronic warfare kit on the aircraft includes a chaff and flare dispenser, a missile approach warning system, a laser warner, a radar warning system, and a cooperative radar jamming system.